E36 Unfiltered, aka the Unfiltered Room with Mr. E.G.A.T. Introducing all the latest names and the latest news. Hottest take, he the new face, yeah, the new sound, but keep it old school. Raw interviews from local athletes, even digging out for entertainment too. Own style, he got his own lane, it's unfiltered out, we keep it raw, man. New content to keep the people ready. E36, no Jerome Betty, it's real dialogue and real conversations. You keep it real, but we real. Mr. E.G.A.T. in the building. E36 Unfiltered.
How we doing, everybody? Everybody, we are in the house, getting it going. Good to get it rocking and rolling. I'm gonna change the screen a little bit of view for right now until we really get some comments rocking and rolling. I'm in the house right now, man, with my man Mark Lacey in the house. I'm gonna kind of talk about that a little bit, but what we have been dealing with, man, you guys know that there has been a lot going on within the sporting world over the last few weeks, and ideally. One big thing that's been going off, as you guys know, okay, great, Mark, you got it right, man, we're good, is the deal with Coach Prime, man. Coach Prime, a lot of shifting and moving going on, the NCAA transfer portal, and most recently, we have had the first time ever the opt-out on a major scale for the college football playoffs. Now, we had opt-outs many a times, but not to have it in the actual playoff when you have a chance to play for the ultimate goal for college football, which is winning the national championship, and have had a player from Ohio State to opt out. We're going to kind of dive into all of that. So real quick, guys, before we get joining on in here with that, I want to make sure ask everybody to make sure you guys stay nice and positive on here. I know it's going to get going. I know how it is. And when it gets to the football, sports, make sure you guys stay respectful throughout the entire comment. We're going to bring some comments up. We want you guys to chime in. While you're on here, go ahead and hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button for us. Make sure you subscribe. As you can see, you can find us on all outlet and platforms, and that is at the on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Overcast, Radio Public, also on our YouTube page at E36 Unfiltered. All right, guys, so as you guys follow on in here, we're not going to take much of you guys' time. Again, we don't want to waste the time. We want to jump right into this thing, so make sure we have full time to make it do what it do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in some of my guests. I'm going to start off with my man. This guy has been with us for a long time. He started out, actually, we had another show going on before he even had joined. He used to be in the audience, and he's always giving great support and input. And so years later, we're going to brought him on in. I think it was Talking Sports we had at that time. Me and Corey Cobbs, another great host guy, was in the mix. Oh, got some people showing up already, jumping on here. There we go. Post your comments in here, guys. Hashtag E36. We got about the hashtag E36. But anyway, with that being said, a lot was going on, man. And so he has gained a lot of knowledge, has been a special guest on my show quite a few times as my co-host. And that is my man, Chris James, bringing him on here, man. How you doing, C?
What's good? What's good?
Great, man. Great to have you. Great to have you on the mix, man. So we get this going, man. Chris James, and not only we got another special guest coming in here, guys. This guy is no stranger to the platform or social media in general. He is a very much accomplished book writer, poet. I mean, everything you could think of. He has his own show as well. My man has a show. Come on, Soapboxing on every Thursday night or on Facebook Live. Unbelievable topics he talks about each and every time. None other than my man, Mark Lacey. How we doing, Lacey?
All right. Doing great. What's happening, everybody?
Man,
what's going on, doctor?
Yes, sir. Glad to be in the mix, guys. So, like I said, without further ado, guys, we're going to go ahead and get us jumped right on in here, man. Like you said, it's been something long awaited. A lot of information, a lot of things have been going on. First, we're going to jump in. Let's go ahead and get it going. Deion Prime Time Sanders, and everybody that you come on in, make sure you like that button, hit that like button, subscribe, go to our pages, guys. Show us love, show us support, and get in these comment sections. So, first, we're going to start here with Deion Prime Time Sanders. As you guys know, he accepted the head coaching job for the team that was 1-11 for this past football season, the Colorado University football job. Prime decision to leave JSU after only 3 seasons 3 short years here, but a very productive time, left some of the fans, alums, and supporters in the state of shock, disbelief, anger, confusion, and not even that, but also the HBCU world and a lot of the people in the Black community. Now, at the same time, we asked, has it been fair for supporters in celebrating prime time? We know they have, but also this is a new opportunity as he will be the first HBCU head coach to be offered a head coach job for a Power 5 school right out of HBCU success. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna bring my man in Chris James to jump on there because there's a lot of to talk about, and I want to see about him talking his stance. The things that's been spoken of is, was he a sellout or was it an elevation? Because you see in his press conference, he said you either being terminated or you're being elevated, and that was a term that he used and so forth. It's like, okay, are we looking at the situation from prime time as him being a sellout or elevating himself for what a job he has done? So I'm gonna let Chris. I'm gonna get you chime in. Let's go ahead and get this thing going and get it stomping. And then I'm gonna kind of chime on in with it as well.
Yeah, that's it's funny. We got a lot of folks with the hashtag. He not swag. He not swag. They've been saying it ever since. Since he been at JSU for the past 3 years.
Facts.
And
Yes.
we all know. He went to a predominantly white school, and everybody tried to hate on him. But what he did for that program, we can't argue what he did for JSU. The talent that he was able to bring, how he elevated that team. And then we were going to him taking this deal. We're talking about a 1-11 team. Like, it's not like this is some great opportunity of just this a great team that he's taking over. He's coming in and going from 300,000 a year to a 29, close to $30 million deal, and I believe they're still trying to confirm or ratify that. And I believe, me personally, that this is elevation here. This is an opportunity, a Black coach to come in to turn a program around, leaving the HBCU, and then showing what's capable, what's possible. So I think it's a great opportunity for him. Outside of, we all know, he's pretty much a celebrity coach, so we know his name has a lot to do with it. But I still look at this as an opportunity for elevation coming from an HBCU team.
All right. I like that, man. And that's a big thing. Like I said, that is very. I feel that tends to have been overlooked and overshadowed because of, like I said, this is my thing. I have a bit of a issue of really understanding how we, as it seems, a lot of people, let's be honest, Black people, like we love you when you're doing something for us, but the moment we decide to not do what you want us to do, then we hate it. Then you hate us. You feel like we done betrayed you. We done stepped over you. We done down talked you. We done did this. All these things. They're gonna bad mouth your name, and all the great things he has done. And then I want to kind of add some context to it. I'm gonna come to my man Lacey in here, and let's look at some of the things that people are talking about that has been done, and the economic. Let's look at the economic impact. I want to look at the economic impact again. I want to feel free for you guys to chime in on the comment section as you get going. $30 million in the city, $30 million to the city of Jaxson, Mississippi. Mind you, at the same time, while this city was being able to get impacted by him doing positive things, putting in his blood, sweat, and tears, his own money. We have another Hall of Famer by the name of Brett Favre, went to Southern Mississippi, finished at Green Bay or New York Jets, was stealing money from literally from the welfare, the poorest state in the country. Over up to $70 million, while this guy was doing the exact opposite, pouring in the money using his own resources. $9 million for the 2022 JSU homecoming itself. $9 million by itself. $4 million for a Boombox Classic. That's another big game. Recruiting, number 1 recruiting class in HBCU history. Signed the first 5-star in the HBCU history, guys. Not just this history, okay? And that kind of is what I'm saying. These things you kind of gonna actually see from an emotional standpoint of why I think some of the people were rubbed the wrong way or were so hurt about his exit because of what he was doing that had never been done. It's like, bro, you may be our savior. What we need to be able to regain our status in HBCU. Most number of quality prospects to commit to HBCU in history in 2021 put HBCU back on the map nationally. Televised. Now, HBCU's been televised. Let's make that be clear. I don't want to never overstep or overlook and give somebody else credit for something that already had been done. But what I did here, ESPN TV deal with the SWAC was $120 million over 10 years. They were to get that deal, but ultimately they decided they didn't want to do it. That was I think that was a loss, but hey, it is what it is. College game day. College game day came to JSU. That was only second time in history going to an HBCU campus. Only the second time ever. So this coming to the few things that he did. I can go in more and more, but I'm saying these things kind of highlight not only where you can see people like, man, that hurt, bro. That hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not gonna lie, real quick, I did not want him to leave at all. No part of me wanted him to leave at all. I was excited. I hadn't watched JSU ever in a game, and I'm up here tuning them in. I'm talking about, I'm finding out, I'm looking at Alabama, I'm seeing when JSU play. That was my two schools off the top. That's how excited I was to see them play. And no matter whoever they was playing, I wanted to see that team, so, but at the same time, I had to like, man, he had to do what he felt like he needed to do. There's some more things we'll talk about. But again, I want you guys to dive in. And I see we got some more comments jumping on here that we got highlighted. When my man, we got coming up, I'm sorry, I pulled this off real quick. We got Monty Johnson joining in. Customers preaching about black athletes coming to HBCUs over PWIs for the culture. But what did he do? And there you go. That's a thing right there. That is one of those kickers that like, oh, that hit right there. Like you talk about this, you talk about that. Okay, no, I didn't mean to do that. I want to make sure I get him back on. I want to have on no blacklist by accident. And there was some real stuff that he spoke on. I got to get you back on here, Monty. I'm gonna get you back on this list. I hit the wrong button. My apologies. I'm gonna get this straight. But anyway, that was a very, very major thing right there. Now we got an HBCU grad, Alabama A&M to be exact, basketball student, athlete, graduate, Mark Lacey. I want you to tune in for you, man, and I want to ask you from your perspective, why do you feel like that Prime fell more on the side of potentially being a sellout for leaving what most feel was an unfinished job at JSU? Most stated simply he left pretty much for the money and the opportunity to be a Power 5 head coach and run into a losing team, to be exact.
Okay, so I just want to say for the record, I personally do not think he was a sellout, but I'm speaking on behalf of those who perhaps considered his move as that of a sellout. Okay. Mm-hmm. First of all, when you look at the attention or lack thereof of all athletic programs of HBCUs, your networks, of course, they might throw a classic or two on there. Mm-hmm. ESPNU has been like a crown jewel for Black college sports.
Yes.
Especially the football classics. And when you think about the fact that you got this NFL Hall of Famer probably listed as the, in my opinion, only shutdown corner, only true legit shutdown corner in the history of the game in his prime.
I agree.
In his prime. And he commits to an HBCU. He brought his mass appeal, his pull, and some people take this for granted about his persona. He's very, very spiritual. And some people kind of look at it as a joke simply because they're basing it on his past or what have you. But when he's in there talking to the team, he's coming straight from the gut, trying to teach those young men to be men. So when you add that combination of the combination of his mass appeal, his energy, the fact that he's a NFL Hall of Famer and had Nike wanting to sponsor everything. And you also had his former teammates former NFL legends who wanted to come to JSU to talk to the team, to be around the vibe. You know, your Troy Aikmans, your Michael Irvins, all those people coming to visit, Warren Saps. So this was a golden experience for these young men that they probably never would get anywhere else in a lifetime. So, and then you think about, you mentioned the economic impact. You think about the fact that now, ESPN, the main ESPN, is now paying a lot more attention to HBCUs. Oh, and by the way, you're looking at also the fact that a lot of these other programs are encouraged and intrigued at the prospect of hiring other NFL celebrities. And again, it's not just the celebrity factor that's stepping foot on the campus of HBCUs, it's their impact. It's the fact that attention is now being shined on these institutions at a level never seen before, which means programs are being sponsored, which means that you're going to have better facilities, which means better uniforms, which means better support when it comes to academics, which is first and foremost. And you don't have a program unless you've got recruits. And so recruits are attracted to all of these attributes. And then you add in this age of NIL, which is a whole different conversation. And you have a recipe for a blossoming program. And so when I could see the looks on the faces when Coach Prime actually had his inaugural press conference, wearing his JSU blazer and his JSU cap, this was a chance of a lifetime. This was a generational hire. And not that Prime is like the greatest knowledgeable coach in all of football, but guess what? He was able to hire those assistants. He was able to hire NFL coaches and position coaches and coordinators who are known to have that high football IQ. So he was able to put their aces in their places, and those coaches never would have come there if it was not for the presence of one Deion Primetime Sanders. So you add all of those things together, in the fact that typically before we got into this age of NIL and transfer portal, a coach would pretty much stay, unless he had abysmal seasons, he would pretty much stay the lifetime of one recruiting class, at least 4 years, right? He stayed 3 years this time, but these are different times. These are not normal times. And so it seemed like paradise when things started going well. He had an undefeated season this year. And, I understand Jaxson State University and HBCU supporters, hey, we got our catalyst here. And this guy is having a domino effect across the academic and athletic spectrum of HBCU sports. And now it's like somebody pulled the plug on life support because he took the job at Colorado. So I understand that people are going to naturally feel like the carpet or the rug was pulled out from underneath them when you look at the timing of things. Best recruiting class in HBCU history. Jackson State went undefeated. And all of a sudden, you got this powerful microscope on HBCUs. You've got networks wanting to pay attention to HBCUs. And then now this, bam. And so I understand why one would feel that way, especially if you are a product of an HBCU. But again, I personally do not feel like he sold out.
Right. And the point you made, how.
All right, we're not for a second, Chris. Let me get your tune right. Go ahead. All right, what I'm gonna do here until you get back in here, get Chris back going. I'm trying to make my point. With that being said, like I said, I agree. Right now, guys, this is my problem. This is my thing is that I'm going to Chris. Are you here? Look at your boy, man, Chris. Okay, okay, got you. All right, and I don't seem to understand the concept of so quick to call people sellout for elevating, for being able. Oh, I ain't want to say the word elevate. 'Cause I want to leave that word alone. We're going to address that later on. I think it could have been a better choice of word. Um, but if we put it on the reality of what it is what it is. But when it comes to us dealing with the aspect of the hurt, the disappointment that it brought, is why do we have this "you're my savior" type of complex? And this is what I want to get at. I think the thing is, and if people even realize, ever listen to what Dion said on 60 Minutes, this is what I want to people keep on saying. He sold that dream of, hey, don't go to HBC. You don't have to go to a PWI. You can come here to HBCU and get successful. Absolutely. And I believe that still stands true. I think what he was able to display and show that you can still be successful. Now, I wish it could have been maybe 2 more years to be able to show Travis Hunter staying. Because I'm questioning, is he going to go ahead and leave as well because of prime time is there? Because we know, I'm a former college player. You saying that all three of us on the platform play at the next level. You go not just for the school, but for the coaches, because the school can't teach you how to be a better ball player. The coaches would help you do that. The system that's in place help you do that. So you're gonna follow where the coaches go. So a lot of the Travis Hunter, why he came, is because you had a Hall of Fame, proven to me the best DB that ever played the game. There is going to be able to train you and get you to where you need to be. So that fact still remains of, yes, you don't have to go to PWIs. You can go to HBCU and still have success. But he knew that with the success, it came the eyeballs that he was going to have to put his butt in and work, and being able to, for the first time, having an HBCU having their own pro date, doing these things so much that he brought to the table. So to answer that question, yes, he is right. He did sell it on the culture of that. Now, that's also part of a recruiting pitch. Every coach I've ever known, ever seen, they're going to tell you, come to the school. You come to my school. You want to get to the next level, come to my school. Or you want this XYZ, we can get that for you. We can do that. We have the resource to put in work to get you there. That's a part of the selling pitch. Now, however, that those same coaches will leave a job within 2 years or 3 years or whatever. It happens. Why did we place so much weight on one guy and think he's supposed to save him, like he can't not do better for himself? I asked this. People that told the Stones are saying this, and I saw this at one point in time. If you have never left a job, if you worked at Burger King 10 years ago and you done got plenty of job offers to work somewhere that give you more pay, whether it's a quarter, whether it's $5, whatever it may be, then you can say something. Then you cast a stone. If you ain't never left a church, you've been to church, you never left a church. You ain't changed pastors to go to a church. You know what? The church better fits me spiritually to where I want to be at, to where I feel I need to be at. Cast your first stone. If you ain't never left a relationship, a marriage, a friendship, and when this don't work for me no more, that was for a season. Things happen and are destined for a season and a time. But what did you do while you was there? If you haven't never done that, if you've never been in any of those situations, hey, say what you say. Go ahead. He's a sellout. He was this. He was that. Because last time I checked, Dion went to Colorado. He didn't take that practice facility, that practice field, that game field, that turf field he got there. He didn't tell Walmart, hey, cut that off. I got the deal for him. Let's take it up here. Let's take it up here somewhere else. Let's give it to somebody else. He didn't take that locker room that he put his money into, that he should not have had to, but he put his money into. Last time I checked, those things didn't happen. All those uniforms, they had the second most uniforms than any other school, Power 5 included, outside of Oregon. Nobody had more uniforms, and they helmets, everything. Every day it was a fashion show every time. The food, the meal, the fancy meals they was taking. He didn't take, that was him. And I say, no, it's people that put in there, but he leveraged his notoriety, his name, his hard work, his reputation. But I ask you guys this as well, for all those that are hurt about the situation and saying, and again, you okay to be hurt, because I don't know, there is only one Dion. He spent 35 years letting them know there's only one of me. Don't get it twisted, baby. It's one of me. You know what I'm saying? So he did his thing. But I ask you guys this. Who, because they got a 5-year deal for $5 million a year, or 5-year I think they offered initially $5 million, but it's gonna be a 5-year, $29.7 million deal. Who offered him at least $4 million? The Jackson State found a way. You know what? We ain't got it right now because Colorado said they don't have it right now, but we're gonna find a way to get it. Did you guys decided, you know what? If we want him, we're gonna show him how much we really appreciate him. We're gonna give him some money. We're gonna give him that. At least we can't get the $5 million. We can get at least $4 million. Stick with us, Dion. We'll find a way. We'll get it. I don't think that happened now. Reports may be coming out later on that I haven't seen, but we haven't seen no reports that happened. Now we do know that they offered you guys. Now this is a slap in the face to me. They offered this man $1 million. They offered him $1 million. After he had already forfeited his 300,000 K. Just give back. Hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm worth $30-40 million. I can take the hit. We're gonna give it back to the community, give back to this team, and yada yada yada. Out of that $1 million, they told him, okay, here you go. But guess what? We got to pay your staff out of that too. Wait, what? Wait, what? What kind of disrespect was that? How you gonna tell? That's like somebody telling you, I'm gonna give you a raise. I'm gonna give you a raise, but also you're the manager. I need you to pay also your assistant manager and the other people out of that. But wait, what are you talking about, bro? So you look at these kind of things that we seem to want to overlook and expect this man to be like, huh? And some people say, I heard some people say this as well. He already got money. He don't need no money. I ain't never heard a wealthy man say he don't need more money, that he ain't trying to make more. I've never heard that. I never heard a broke person say that. Nobody. I ain't never heard about it. I don't need no more money. I ain't never heard that. So these kind of things, guys, some of these things are kind of like, it's almost brainless. Like, I don't want us to be in an aspect where we're so driven and driven by our emotions that we fail to be realistic and want to, and I ain't gonna lie, I felt there was a great deal of disrespect going on when I heard them, saying bye, Dion, bye, go ahead, had to play the song. One thing you got to remember: one monkey don't stop. Wait, come on, G, come on. Why? All this that has been done. It wasn't nobody in that audience that was mature enough to be like, you know what? Yeah, we feel the type of way it hurt, but you know what, man? Shout out to you. Thank you for what you done, bro. We good. You laid the blueprint. We're gonna keep it moving. You ain't taking the stuff with you. We good. Now we should want you to stay. Now what's your best success? You want to leave? Go ahead and leave, bro. I feel you, but I'm not gonna, as they say straight up, I'm not gonna shit on you on the way out. No, you're good. So, that's those things here. And Chris, if you got your volume back, I want you to go ahead and jump back in, man, and give your points. But that was the thing about the Dion situation. So many different levels of, to me, the disrespect, and it kind of showed our lack of understanding how the business work, how life works, all these different aspects. So, Chris, VN, man, go ahead and jump in.
Okay, I think it was the headsets. No, yeah, I was just
okay.
I mean, I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And going back to even what Mark was saying, in regards to just highlighting HBCUs, allowing the focus. You were saying that the ESPN, everybody chiming in, trying to see what's going on. We got to think about it. How many athletes are not being seen that are great players in HBCUs? I mean, we haven't had. You think about it. You go right now. You think about how many great players that are making it to the NFL right now. Yes. Off the top of your head, okay, you say, okay, Jerry Rice, Michael Strahan. You got a few other, Walter Payton, but then you start going back and you're like, okay, we're talking about the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yes.
Who in the 2000s right now is getting overlooked just because they were at HBCU and they didn't have that many scouts and that much presence for people to say, okay, they're worthy of, being compared to some of these athletes at the powerhouse schools. So I think what Dion did, he gave opportunity for people to say, look, Jackson State has produced a lot of great players over the years.
Absolutely.
A lot of them have been overlooked. But him as a player and then also as a coach, he understood this too. As far as taking a position, like you said, he took the cut, he ate the cost, he poured into the school so it could be highlighted to show, like, look, don't overlook what's happening here. There are some great athletes, some steals that you could get that have an opportunity to make it to the next level. And that's what he did there. and like you said, it's like, I don't understand, and we all know Dion too. We know prime time. We know why he was playing for Jerry Jones, why he went there. At the end of the day, he was gonna make some money because he had to look out for his family. So it's really, like I said, I'm kind of I would say, a little confused at people's perspectives when it comes to this. Like you're forgetting all that he already has done for the past 3 years. Let that man, he laid a foundation, like you said. Now it's time for him as a coach. This is part of his career too. And that's what people forgetting. Like, he has a career, he has goals that he may want to see happen. He did what he needed to do at Jackson State, undefeated season. Now he's getting into an opportunity to go into this arena at Colorado and turn a 1-11 school around and see what happens. This could project him. This could project him to being an NFL coach. We don't know.
Yes. And I want to chime in this. I got one of my former players, guys, and I hope Mississippi did a heart, man, because some of you guys may not know, back in 2011, 2012, I actually coached in Mississippi, in the state of Mississippi, junior college called East Central Community College, and I said that, brought it up because that's one of my players, and I saw how much was needed in that state, man. How much great athletes in that state. I'm telling you, some ball players out the woodworks down there. But I also hold a dear spot to my heart, and when it comes to the state of Mississippi, because they gave my first opportunity to even dive into the coaching ranks. College football was my first time ever coaching. It was college football. That was a blessing, along with a couple other coaches, and now I moved on to bigger and better things, guys. Todd Bates was at Clemson. Now he's the coordinator at Oklahoma. We had D. Dennis Alexander, who's now also at Miles College. The list goes on and on, guys. But what I was getting into is that my man Zaire Woodward, which is one of my players, he said, "Now, coach, I'm from Jackson, and I don't agree with what y'all are saying, and I would like to see that chime in." Now, my thing is, I want to pose this question: is it that you don't agree, that it don't feel good to hear these things, or what we saying is not factual? Because now that's the thing. Now it's a difference from not liking what somebody's saying and not saying, "Hey, you're not speaking facts." I might not like what you're saying, but I can't dispute the facts. That's what we want to make sure we stay on the facts. The facts were, and this is another aspect. So feel free to chime in with some more of your content as to why you feel that type of way. And when it comes to your statement that you just made, I'm definitely open to hear that. What I would like to add in as well, and I think this is another piece that people are not looking into. I don't think it's really. I think money. Everybody want a little bit more money, but I don't think that was enough to pull Dion. I think, unfortunately, he saw. I don't have kids on my way. You guys that have kids, you would do anything for your children. Anything for you. I know my nephews. It ain't nothing that I want. If I can be able to do it and be in a power to be able to put myself in position to help them, that I would not do it. Everything that I do with my football when I was playing, I want to make sure they have a better, easier role than I had to set them up for success and to pass down the knowledge and all these things of that nature. He had, not only did his vehicle get broken into, his son's vehicle got broken into. This is multiple times, guys. And I know if my son or my kid, if I'm in danger, that's one thing. But if my son and my loved ones are in danger as well, it's only one step away. Because let's be clear. Now, my man Xavier Woodward will chime in and say this. He'll agree with Jackson State ain't no joke on the crime. If you go and Google the crime rate for Jackson, Mississippi, it's probably in the top 10, if not top 10, slightly right outside. The whole way has improved, but that's not what's to stop that person from eventually somebody getting hungry enough or desperate enough to try to carjack somebody or carjack his son when his son is actually in the car. It could lose his life down there because if he don't feel safe. Because the one thing he pointed out is, man, the crime rate is literally almost nothing, extinct over here up in Colorado. Now, did that feel good for him to hear him say that? No. But was the truth to that? Google, look it up, find out about the Jackson. Ask some people from Jackson, Mississippi about their crime rate. It's real. Now, to go a step further, if I don't need to, I get my son up out of there. What have I got to do? Now, another thing, think about when was the last time, because coming out, Shedeur was a four-star quarterback, had Division I offers, initially committed to a Division I school. When's the last time, anybody can answer on the chat or you guys, that HBCU has had a quarterback drafted. And who was that player? What school he came from? I'll give you a few seconds. Exactly. If I ask you when last time Ohio State has a quarterback drafted, right off the head. Alabama, right off the head. Clemson, right off the head. Quickly, y'all can jot these things out. Heck, the last time was, God rest his soul, Tavares Jackson, back in 2007 when they played against at Alabama State, 3rd round draft pick. God rest his soul. That was the last time. He sees that no matter how much I'm gonna get him exposure, but it's gonna be hard for them to take him serious. Akeem Glass that played at Alabama A&M, 3,500 yards passing, 35 TDs, 7 interceptions. Guess what? The guy barely got a call to get on the roster, to even to go to a training camp. Didn't make it out of training camp because they didn't give him much chance. He can do this on this team, but nah. So I think Dion, even now, I think this is even greater than just talking about that aspect. And more so talking about him as to what he need to do for his children, his kids. So I think that's also a big part of it we may want to look into, that I think people are overlooking that aspect when it comes to the reasons why he did what he did. All right. So again, I'm going to jump off of that, guys. I want to jump back into some other things. And also, we can talk about some more things about it, but the ticket sales, guys, about the ticket sales. Money was coming up missing, things of that nature. So I will ask you, man, this is Mark. Let's go for Mark. Why has it, and this has been something I have heard for quite some time, what is the deal with always seeing like the HBCUs are having financial issues of money coming up missing, money being misappropriated? And it's like there's something going on for as long as I can remember. Back in 1998, 99, 98, 99, or it was like 99, 2000, A&M's going to the SWAC. I had my godbrothers playing on that team. He told me all type of horror stories. I'm like, what? What do you mean you on scholarship? So what do you think? Why does that seem to be a continuous thing going on? And what are some of the issues you think that lies within that, and why it continues to be going on?
Well, I definitely know that HBCUs have been stigmatized with the financial issue cloud looming over programs.
Yeah, how accurate is that really?
And well, I think that of course, in this era of hot takes and tweets and everything, I think it gets exacerbated. But every HBCU has had its issues with academics and with funding. And when you look at certain, and I don't want to put any schools on the spot, but I'm just saying this because it's facts. There have been football programs, in which players wanted to walk out because the equipment was dilapidated, the equipment was run down, the facilities were inadequate. That's happened over the years. How does this happen when you have a full-fledged program and you've got behinds in seats attending games, but programs don't have the money? And there are all kinds of finger pointing taking place. Some people look at the fact that it's a misappropriation. Others look at the fact that when you take the University of Oregon, it's right there in Nike universe, so they'll never have to long for anything, right?
Yes.
They automatically got that sponsorship. Some people look at the fact that these HBCU athletic programs lack the depth of sponsorship to sustain them. And of course, and nowadays with the aid of social media, you got players visiting schools, and if they can hold up some gear that the school gives them with Nike, Under Armour, that's going to attract more recruits. That means that they'll never have to long for the various uniforms, the essential equipment, the cleats, the basketball shoes, helmets,
which is big.
That is really huge. So, and then you can draw a parallel to, like, for instance, in high school sports. I remember, the booster clubs.
Yes.
Session stand. The team needed some more uniforms. See, as a player, I never really understood. I never really engaged in how those logistics operate, but now I know. People, friends who have kids playing high school sports. Hey, Mark, can you buy this ad? Can you buy that ad? The teams
Yes.
here, or they need uniforms. Boom, 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 boom. So funding has to come from somewhere, and so when you think about the stigma of underfunded programs and HBCUs, you ask yourself, why doesn't it seem at the PWIs? Why does it seem that that's never an issue at PWIs? Even though there are some issues, but when you look at the scale, the ratio of issues and of funding in athletic programs, PWIs, and compare that to HBCUs, it's completely lopsided.
Can I make 2 points?
Go ahead, Chris.
2 points with that too, and it's the same thing. Somebody like me and a counterpart, say a white counterpart with going to the bank. It's factual. Black institutions pay higher rates on borrowed money.
Facts.
The interest rates are much higher than a PWI. You got one strike against you right there. So you're borrowing money and then having to pay way more back when you borrow it. Second one, the state does not match the federal when it comes to the funding of money. States choose to not match the federal funds. It's fact, over the past 3 decades, a total of about almost $13 billion of being underfunded as compared to a PWI across all HBCUs. We're talking about a $13 billion difference in 30 years. How can you keep up with that? And we're looking like, what's the problem? What's the problem? Like,
it's about design.
Let's get this. Let's be equal about this money that's coming in. Like, it's the states have money. Every state has their set budget for finances and things like that. They look at the HBCU in their state. They look at the PWI. Okay, we'll throw them $100 million. We'll just throw $1 million over there, and then that's what's happening. And just to Mark's point, a lot of that is not really people saying it's stigmatized. It's stigmatized because that's how media presents it. But there's a lot of things going on the back end that we cannot even control.
That's very true. And you know what? I think also, like you talked about, Mark, you alluded about boosters, and I just want to chime this real quick in. I think in addition to that, there is a lot of information, like I said, of a lot of free money. I was talking to somebody that HBCUs don't know that it's available to them easily, just by them being a minority, just by free money being out here getting these certain programs, accepting these certain programs. It's free money instead of trying to write these grants. It's so much free money out there that I think a lack of knowledge and knowing, because it had not been privy to that, and also so that I think that plays a big part in it, and how the government is allocating its money, like you kind of alluded to. In addition to that, unfortunately, we have a lot of successful celebrities that went to HBCUs that simply are not giving back. They're not giving back. They're not to the level they should, compared to a lot of others white celebrities out here that gives back to their school, that's highlight, that loves it, all these things. Those things go a long way. When they money Colorado, why they confident they can get that money to pay Dion? Because they know they can rely on their booster. They're gonna send out a call. Hey, all my Buffalo alums, Buff, let's go. We need this money. Boom. They're gonna adhere to it. It's gonna go on. So that has a big aspect to go with it, man. But guys, that was a great segment, man. I really enjoyed your input, your thoughts, your process, different areas. And I would say to finish off that portion of this discussion, shout out to Dion. Do your thing, man. We are proud of you. Hate to see you leave, absolutely. But I think that's opened the doors for others to see that it's possible. And I hope that we get some other NFL legends that want to jump into the coaching ranks and take on that. We got Eddie George out there. We got Hugh Jackson. People not mentioned him, which was a former NFL head coach, guys. So he's an HBCU. So don't think it ain't we being left out. No, I'm gonna continue to be out there, and I'm becoming a fan, and I'm gonna gotta stay that, man, because it's important. It's very important. So again, we don't wish no failures on nobody, no HBCU, no Dion, no anybody that makes that next move. Why? Because at the end of the day, we all people. We all he's our people. He's ours. HBCU, that's ours. So we gotta support. If nobody support, we gotta support. All right. All right. Just kind of segue into a next portion, guys, real quick. This transfer portal, guys, it is lighting up. I mean, some will say it's getting completely out of hand. There is different segments on here that I'm not gonna lie, it is a little tough. It's like, God, dog, is everybody, getting up out of here, So, but anyway, we're gonna quickly address that real quick. By the transfer portal, we have some biggest names that came out already. I don't know. I hate kind of miss his name, but DJ U. We call it DJ from Clemson. I'm just gonna keep it at that. I want to jack it all the way up. From Clemson has made his transfer where he actually looking at to potentially have 2, maybe even 3 more years of eligibility. Don't know how that's gonna work. How he's getting that 3 out of that, but definitely looking at 2 more years of eligibility. Leary from I think from NC State, also same thing, making a transfer. We got the portal. Texas A&M. Texas A&M is leading with 22 transfers already, and 9 or 10 of them are from their previous signing class, which was the most historic signing class of all time. And it's crazy, But I don't think nobody can say they have left out of the without having some transfers coming out and leaving out. The Alabama even had a starting lineman, Javian Cohen, that's actually transferring as well, and he was an actual starter. But anyway, with that being said, man, the thing that's talking about it is, has the NCAA or is the NCAA starting to ruin, in this case, sports, in this case, college football? And I want you to chime in on the effects of how you think these things are affecting college football, and more importantly, affecting the way the coaches choose to coach and discipline their players. Chime in. Let's get it going.
Yeah, I say again, it's really about the perspective. I know for most, and then again, this is from what I've heard, over the years, a lot of people chose college football because there wasn't any type of trading or transfers of ability. They like the fact that once a player was signed, he was there. More than likely, he was going to be there for the length of his career in college.
So they thought,
so the transfer portal, we already knew it just kind of changed the whole game. It changed how you look at players. I think coaches now and scouts are even looking more into. They were doing it, but now the social media content, you try to get a more of an idea of the mentality of the player, because depending on who you get, and if they don't get their opportunity, they might just be out of there, and you got to take that risk if you go and grab the player. So for me, I think it's still good because it puts opportunity back into the players' hands. Especially, we talked about this before about players not getting paid, but yet, they're somewhat exploited in a way. But that's a whole nother topic we might have to circle back around. So I think the transfer portal gives players an opportunity to feel like they are still in control of what's happening with their career at the college level.
I agree. And to me, that what we'll talk about. And I think a lot of times I want to also point this out. Something I think has been overblown. The transfer portal is nothing new. It's been in existence. I remember back when I was even playing, back in my day in 07, 08, 07, 08, and 06. Transfer portal has been there. I saw many players come and go, transfer in. But what it was more heavier on the players who were walk-ons and who were trying to go to a different school in order to gain a scholarship. Now it's more so is a mixture, and a lot of times even more players that's actually scholarship athletes already that hadn't played like they wanted to and take that move. Give it a quick example, guys. I had a little stat, guys, around the 2019, out of 180,000 NCAA Division I students, athletes in 2018, around 10,000 chose to enter the portal in 2019. Okay, a quarter of them were football players. So that's 10,000 of those players in that 1 year that did that. That's just in 2019. A few years back, but people are like, oh my God, people just leaving left and right. This is crazy. This is crazy. But you didn't see the big names, and you didn't see the opt outs, and you didn't see the NILs. And then, of course, as we have grown more podcasts and like ours and different platforms, ESPN hit it so much where it seems like it just coming over, out, getting out the blue, going crazy. However, what I would think the biggest thing was that it was a cap on it because you wouldn't allow to be able to have a one-time transfer where you can immediately go ahead and play. That to me is a big change and what has shifted dynamics and made more players more leery because they're like, oh, do I want to lose a year and sit out a year? That kind of made a lot of players be like, man, you know what? I'm gonna stick it here. Forget that. I can't sit out no year. But now you get that immediate eligibility to go into, and of course, grad players, same exact thing. So these things kind of played a little bit. I think has played not a little bit, a lot of a change into their perspective to make that change. Now, just kind of wanted to put that in there, guys, kind of bring context because I know so far this year it's a 60-day window. Right now, it's open season, first cycle for players to make their decision to move. I think right now we are almost up to 3,000 players who have decided to make that enter the transfer portal, which is a lot in a short period of time. So you got from here to December, the end of the year. And then I think it's going to get back open again for another 15 days in January, which it's 45 days in December, 15 in January, culminating to a total of 60 days. Now, with that being said, Mark, man, would you kind of chime in on the aspect of it? Do you feel like kind of easy access to the portal is just simply the new landscape of intercollegiate sports, for better or for worse? And do you see the NCAA stepping in anytime soon to kind of restrict the portal access to make it tougher for players to want to leave?
I think it is for the worse. And yes, I do see the NCAA putting some control measures in more sooner than later. And this is my personal take. Number one, you go to college for academics. Okay, that's your main emphasis. Okay, I can only imagine. I can only imagine if we practicing and Coach Pettaway doesn't like my hustle and he makes me run a 2-60, or some people call them gassers or whatever. And this man can't make me run. I'm gonna hit the transfer portal. In my opinion, it's a little bit from a freedom standpoint. It's just way too liberal. And I say that simply because they say college is supposed to be the funnest time of your life. Number one, okay. Number two, it is also a stretch in which a time window in which young men are supposed to become men and young ladies are supposed to become ladies, right? Which means that in that process, you are bearing some responsibility. You are having some challenges that you have to deal with, and you got to figure it out, right? So, and part of that, like when I was playing, and again, I'm not one of those old school thinkers to say that everything has to happen like it happened back in the day. No. But what I'm saying is the advantage of having those control measures is the fact that, okay, you're going to have to grow up. You're going to have to grow up fast. You're going to have to focus on your academics. And you're also going to have to find a way to be as flexible as possible to work harder, spend extra time, and see if you can crack that starting lineup or simply wait your turn. Now, if it's a situation where you got like 4 or 5 stars in front of you, and you spend about a year and a half in that program, you've been working your behind off, you know what your skill set is, then yeah, you should probably look to go to another program, because there are some programs that have wide receiver rooms, quarterback rooms, running back rooms, linebacker rooms, defensive back rooms that are so stacked that somebody that's 3rd and 4th on the depth chart could probably go somewhere else and be an All-American. But people need to understand that, if I've not given my best effort, or they need to ask a question to everybody transferring, have I done everything that I'm supposed to do to get on that field? I just can't
real question.
Be ticked off at coach, have an attitude, start tweeting and going on. And then I don't agree with that. I do agree with players having the liberty / latitude to make decisions, especially if a professional career is on the horizon and they've done everything that they could possibly do, but they just couldn't crack the lineup. And of course, you're not going to, okay, if in football, scouts have to have some film on you. You don't have to have all the reps.
Yeah.
You don't have to start. I mean, scouts have to have some film on you to make some decisions. And if you're at a program, you've given your all, and you're a 4 and 5 star, whatever, or the star rating doesn't matter. If you feel that you can contribute to your team, but you've not been given that opportunity because how heavy or how deep the lineup is in front of you, and you've given your all and you've done everything the coaches asked you to do to get on the field, then by all means explore your options. But you got some cats who just got bad attitudes.
Yeah, don't want to work for them, be handed to them.
Some cats are automatically thinking before they even take one snap, well, I'm thinking this NIL, blah, blah, blah. You know, they're thinking NIL before they even think about how compatible they are with the program. They're thinking, they're thinking NIL before they're thinking, okay, am I handling everything I'm supposed to handle on an academic level? The coaches said I need to watch more film. Am I doing that? Coaches said I probably need to stay after practice and get with the quarterback machine, catch more balls, practice catching with my hands. Am I doing that? Coach said they said I need to improve my upper body strength. Am I spending extra time in the weight room with the trainers doing that?
There you go. Am I being realistic?
If you're not handling all of your responsibilities and you're only thinking NIL and you're not thinking how you can fit in with the program, then number one, you probably don't need to be with that particular program. They probably don't need you. But at the same time, it's like the biggest loser in these people that are winning all of these billions on the lottery. If you don't change this up here, it don't matter where you go.
Right.
You're going to still be in the same spot. Ask some of them former Alabama players that went to Texas.
Right. And to that point, and that's true too. You know, I like the fact they have the freedom, but and again, it goes to how you handle when you move and the reasons behind you moving. Like I was pulling one. I don't know if y'all heard recently about Dylan Johnson, running back at Mississippi State, and you know, he tweeted, and it's funny because everything sounded good. You know, he said, "I thank God, thank my family, all the support, you know, the university, the trainers, amazing fans. You know, it was an honor to participate." And then he says, "You helped me build my character." But then he goes at the end of his tweet and he says, "With that being said, since I'm not very tough and Leach is glad I'm leaving, I'll be entering my name into the transfer portal."
What?
This guy had 488 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he says all of that. And then at the end of the tweet, since Leach says I'm not tough and he doesn't like me, I'm going to enter the transfer portal. Like, who's going to pick you up after that? Like,
you squandered everything you just said.
I'm like, you had such a great professional tweet, and then somewhere you're, you know, I don't know how old he is, you know, 19, 20.
Hey, it sounded like he told his publicist, all right, stop. I got it from here. All right. I got it from here. All right, here we go.
Right, I hear all you said, but let me add my part in right here.
Last part. Boom.
So it's like to Mark's point, it's stuff like that where it's like, you know, why are you doing it? Okay, so your coach, like you said, your coach told you got to get tougher, and you say, okay, I'm just going to enter the transfer portal since you don't like me.
Yeah, you can't say that. Like, oh God, you can't say that. That was like the worst. Like somebody should have proofread that. One of his partners, somebody proofread that something. You can't. Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I agree with Mark in that respect. I think overall, for those who have the proper mindset and they understand that, you know, when you're looking at education, but then also the possibility of going to the next level, that's really what you want to do. Is you do it in the right way, and you know, you make sure you stay mature about your decisions.
I got you. I got this question for me. I want to add in is we saying this, but I think you got to give them also a level of grace. We got to keep in mind these are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. I'm not. We know it now. If I age, that was a terrible way to end it. But we also know, and also the coaches know, he's a kid. He's gonna say that you like me. That lets you don't really like. That lets you know. But somebody gonna take a chance on him. He's able. I don't know what year was he in. Was he a sophomore? Was he a junior? Or where he was at? Or whatever in his career. But I think also, so I think that's gonna play a factor in that. And like, okay, we're gonna take it with a grain of salt. We're gonna look at this tape because somebody's still gonna take a chance on him. If the tape looks good enough, okay, cool. If he ain't no off the field issues, okay, we're good. We're going with this. We know we've seen it plenty of times. Talent outweighs character in this sport, unfortunately. A lot of times they'll put up with a lot more if you can produce a lot more as well. With that being said, I want to chime this party in. We saying all these things, and that's great, and I believe it. I rock with you guys, but can we really blame these kids? Because we got college coaches been doing this all the time. Now we talk about. Let's not even look at just I look at a head coach as equivalent to a quarterback as being that at the highest level. You're looking at you're the head guy, you're a head quarterback, that team that runs a team. But you got a lot of assistants that leave from year to year. I know coaches that went here 1 year, they go in the very next year. They sign a 3-year contract, they go in within 2 years. And so we talk about this, showing this discipline and what school's supposed to be and all these things, and it's supposed to be a place of academic, a place to learn how to be disciplined, to stay leveled and committed. And we forget we got 30, 40, 50-year-old men that still ain't doing that. And they seeing this. They seeing that they coach they signed with this year is gone the very next year. Or they see that same coach that they committed to that team before their season gets started, before they get to the summer, that coach left and took another position. So we asking, at the same time we asking loyalty, and they demanding, hopefully trying to demand loyalty, but they're not showing it. It's like a parent telling you, hey, do what I say, not what I do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not disagreeing with what you guys were saying, but I think also that stuff kind of like, you can't tell me I need to be staying here. Don't tell me I need to be doing this. This is my career. I got a short 4-year window to maximize, to change my life, to change my family life, my legacy for years to come, for generations to come. Y'all coaches, y'all gonna have a career. Y'all don't have no cap on your career. You can be there 10, 15 years. You can make a couple of mistakes. So I think those things also weigh into it. And like you said, I will agree with this. I think the NIL has kind of a little bit overly complicated things a little bit, because I think that a lot of these players, i.e. looking at like a Texas A&M, didn't look at, am I really a great fit, or as it showed on tape, and I'm not making this up, it showed on tape where one of the assistant coaches said, you look at these things, you see these people in these stands, you see the very top right here, y'all see that? Bro, all these, you gonna walk in here, you gonna get deals. You gonna get, everybody gonna get a deal. Told them that. Put almost dang verbatim. So with that being said, he's selling them a dream. You selling a kid that may be coming from little to nothing, who's a 4 and 5 star, but like, hey, I need this money. I gotta ensure that I'm gonna get this money that I'm looking toward, because my parents already think I can, and my friend, yada yada yada, my family depending on me. Texting them may not be a great fit, but they already guarantee me this, and I'm coming with my other partners as well. I got taken and run with it. So I think those things are, that's why I think also it has to be, they have to put some level of some more stewardship and accountability when it comes to NILs and how they are portrayed to these players, because it's luring a lot of them. And I think if you can get a more cap on that, which is going to come from the coaches and the people over them to set some ground rules of how you got to put this out here, you can help prevent a lot of players from being lured by their dollar signs of making money here and then making a couple million when you get to the pros. Or if you don't get to the pro, you already got a couple million potentially, which is great, or a couple 100,000, which is a great start. I know I didn't have to previously have it coming out. So what you got to know that what they're speaking to, the manipulation that takes place. So I think it goes a little step further when it comes to transfer portal as well. Go ahead, Mark. Like you had something?
Okay, so listen, to me, the sport is on the cusp of being ruined. And I don't like the fact that, of course, yeah, they're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids, but is it worth it at the expense of the sport? It's almost like somebody, we need some changes in Washington. So why don't we get some business people in there? Folk who have absolutely no legislative experience whatsoever. The whole world catches on fire, but we got business people in there. You see what I'm saying? So again, you
Balanced.
yeah, there has to be a balance. I don't want, you know, uh, if I'm taking an international flight, I don't want a TikTok dancer who everybody just loves. They love their stories. He's going to be our co-pilot today. No,
Hey, let's do a move. Everybody in the house.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let them do TikTok dances in the cabin. But no, we need subject matter experts flying this plane. So I
Right.
said all that to say, yes, I like the freedom that the players have, and yes, I like the fact that the NCAA cannot be as God as they once were. But if some control measures aren't put on the portal and the NIL, the game is going to be ruined, because it's almost like people can now, like Barkley and them, talk about, you can just build a super team. You can work out with this player that you just had this 7-game series with. Y'all can talk and build your own super team, and it's going to take away parity from the sport, in my opinion. I like the transfer portal. I like NIL, but they both need controls.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it's gonna be. I think right now, I know we all have been boo-booing on the NCAA for a long time, and a lot of rightfully so. Um, but I think NCAA has like, you know what, we're gonna step back for a little bit. Y'all want us out? Okay, we're gonna be out. Let's go. Wild Wild West. What y'all want? Y'all gonna have to come back and see that this all a little chaos needs some level of balance going on here. So I think it's gonna be a few short years that I don't want people to hit the panic button too much, because I remember years ago, just going off the aspect of on the transfer portal, a lot of things started when it initially happened. It's like, oh my God, it's gonna ruin football. It's gonna be the worst thing in the world. Or I remember, them starting throwing the flags on certain hits. You could hits crackbacks that used to be to me that made the game what it was. And we coming in. The first thing I was told when I was on special team my freshman year is, bruh, keep your head on the swivel. Keep your head on the swivel. Don't go up on no crackbacks. All right, you don't want to be caught or you run out the body. You gotta keep your head on the swivel. But now they took that out the game. And for a while, I know myself, like, man, that's soft, man. You gotta be. That's how you set the tone. You need to crack back somebody. That's okay. That's fine. Hit this cat. You know what I'm saying? Flying with your head first. Bow. Knock a cat out. Come across the middle. Let them know you here. That's how you set the intimidation. That's how you set the tone. But we thought it's gonna run the football. It made it tougher, but that's fine out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is right there, guys. I think we have some little changes we got to make, and I will agree with that. Which is a very big shocker for us how the game is going, but we're gonna be fine. Moving to the last segment real quick, guys. We want to talk about this player from Ohio State for the first time, guys. This is crazy. Jaxson Smith-Knoxby has decided to opt out of the college football playoffs. College football playoffs, guys, which we heard players opting out, but never to that level of the college football playoffs when you get a chance to play for all the marbles. And he has decided to make that move. And I kind of want to get you guys some ideas on that thought process on there. Now I want to kind of chime in on a few things. With that being said, is that as much as we know that, let me see, give me a second. So how long I got? Do you got? Oh, right. With that being said, we know that these things happen, okay? But like I said, to this magnitude, now let's kind of get some context. This player was coming in as a second round pick going into the 2019. Perfect. But he's only played actually 3 games the entire season because he's been dealing with what to me I would call almost becoming a chronic hamstring issue. And what I think that people are not looking into, yes, I don't agree with it necessarily. I was like, bro, you can't plan for that level. You just got to take a chance. But he hasn't been able to get healthy enough to play more than 3 games this entire season, and that's been spot duty playing. And yes, he's been able to leave a lot desired because he don't have he's not a great top end speed. They say he's not known to be a great hand catcher. There's a couple things that Ty McShay and those things was saying about that. And now I think he's looking into the aspect of speaking to his word from his father and his brother, that he's looking at, if I go out and I try to give all I can, I know I'm not healthy. What I heard it even worse. If I couldn't get it healthy this entire year and only been able to play 3 games, if I mess around and come out here and hurt myself again, and that's a soft tissue injury. That's somebody I know a great deal about that type of injury and what it can do to your body and how long it take to heal up. Pro date, if you get invited to the big combine in Indy, you don't have time to heal and be able to run and now up your stock. Because they say if you don't have top end speed, what you got to do, you got to go train so you can be able to show them on that 40 that you can bust that 4.4, that 4.3, that can change. That's the difference between that's the millions of dollars that can be gained or lost based on that type of performance. And I think he can look at it from an aspect of do I have to look at the big picture of my health versus the right now. Now, not saying that I agree with it, but I think that is important for people to understand the context, because I had a post on my page and there was a lot of comments going back and forth about this, and I wouldn't draft him. He's holding out, that's a weak move out there. There's some people like, hey, that's business. You got to look at it from different perspective. So I want to get you guys an idea, your thoughts process. Mark, I know you got a little short on your time. So if you mind giving your perspective on knowing some of the totality of these things, and what do you think about the situation?
Well, in this day and age, you have to look at this age in which we're living. Everybody's a subject matter expert just because they got social media and a keyboard, right? So it's all about hot takes, and it's all about the hot and quick topic.
Yes.
On the surface level, the optics don't look great, but people are not. Just like when you think about the Brittany Griner situation, people are not thinking past 2 sentences. They're just going
at all.
the keyboard and just rah,
going.
Not even think. And facts don't matter. Evidence does not matter. Logic does not matter.
Unfortunately,
the only thing that matters is how you're choosing to frame something in the point that you're trying to make, and to see if you can out keyboard the next person because you and them have a different overall ideology. So the bottom line is, if one person has this ideology, the next person has this ideology, they both eat the same Whopper with cheese at Burger King, they're going to hate each other just because they got different ideologies. And so same way with this player opting out. Now, on the surface, like, who the heck does that? Why are you going to opt out the CFP?
That's major. I was like, wait, what?
And maybe New Year's Six Bowl if you are a first round projection, but
maybe.
That's
not his case.
But when you think about it, was either Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Joey.
They could come back, and their family's like, nope. They got that agent, and they were training for the combine and the pro day.
Yes.
And so, and again, you look at the injury. It is a soft tissue injury. It's tricky. Hamstrings are tricky.
Very.
Only way hamstrings are going to heal is rest. Period.
Soft tissue.
Especially when you're in a skill position in football. In them skill positions, you got to have them hammies and you got to have them quads. You got to have them calves. You got to have them ankles. You got to have your ACLs intact. You got to have all of that. So it is, but at the same time, I don't know what his projection is, but the bottom line is, if you are anticipated to have good measurables at the combine and at the pro day, as you mentioned, E, that makes a huge difference in the amount of money that you're going to have tendered to you based on your performance at the combine. Like, for instance, I wasn't impressed with Derek Stingley Jr.'s college career, but guess what?
No.
And
projection.
Devontae Smith, man,
shredded him
that joke
every time. Put him on a highlight film every time.
He had a great pedigree. He had
an impression freshman year.
Very
impressive.
Good hips and in the twitch, good recovery speed, and playing a cornerback position is a very unforgiving position, and so they liked his measurables. They anticipated him having good measurables, even though he was injured for most of his third year at LSU. And so a player like him, his name is in the lights all of them years. That's not going to bother him as much. But this Ohio State receiver, I don't want anybody to be unhealthy, and I don't want anybody to injure themselves unnecessarily. I'm not quite sure what his draft prospects are, but hamstrings are tricky. And if you've been injured off and on all season with that hamstring injury, then you definitely got to take that into consideration. But it is the college football playoff, though, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I think the big issue is. He's the only player. I think last year it was around 29 or so opt-outs, but none of them were for the playoff qualifiers.
Yeah, when they were question.
So that's the shocker here. Is like, wait a minute, you're in the playoffs, like you can't opt out. But you have to remember, and y'all correct me the name, is it Chris Olave
Yes.
from last year?
Mm-hmm.
And Garrett Wilson. Guess what? They didn't play, but who was playing? Smith was.
Mm-hmm.
And they won.
Right.
So what he's trying to say is like, Ohio doesn't need me, but when they did need me, I was there and we won in the Rose Bowl. So, and that was last year. So I get it from both sides. I'm really indifferent about when it comes to players opting out. I feel like that's just a personal decision for them. I don't get upset about it. I just like, it is what it is. Cause again, I don't know your body, like your body and your decisions of what could possibly happen, how you feel about that.
Yes.
I do understand that it's the playoffs, but he showed enough when it was him who had to step up last year. I feel like where he's saying now somebody else can step up and let me take care of myself.
I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, he's the guy. And to kind of add to what you're saying, and I think really a lot of it is why I think the outrage or the hot blue about this is going to be because of the magnitude of the game. Because, like I said, it's nothing new, and this is not the first time this has happened. Like you said, you alluded to that. It's not the first time this has happened, but like I said, on this big of a stage and opting out. But like I said, I think at this point in time, he's looking at some people like, hey, how much, if you're not a sure first rounder, you're a second and third rounder. You can get on the biggest stage and show out. You can up your stock. Yes and no. How much can you really up your stock that's going to help you versus not being able to show that long speed that they're looking for, that he's still questioning about you? Because we know the 40 time can make or break a career. I mean, the guy, what's my man name? He played for Washington that set the record. He broke Chris Johnson record. I forgot that guy's name. I don't know if he's still in the league, but he's from Washington, little receiver. Running a 4.24. That guy ended up going the first, second round when he wasn't even projected to be a first or second round. He'd be like a third rounder, but because that speed, boom, got picked up, making money, millions of dollars ahead of the game. And I don't think he's still even in the league at this point. Dealt with a lot of injury things going on, but to kind of go a step further, that's why I'm saying that combine is very big and very major for their career. I think people soon to forget somebody who did that. Because people are like, well, I wouldn't even draft a player like that because that asked me about his character. Emotionally, if you're being emotional about it, I think you probably would. But if you look at the totality and sit down with this guy, this young man, as they will do, and look at his body of work, his character, the reason why he did these, who was he associating himself with, or who was his people that he was really getting this information from to make this type of decision, you're going to kind of align these things up. Because many would have said the same thing, and that was said, a lot of things were said the same thing about Jamar Chase when he opted out after 2019 and not to even come back. I think he may have played a game or so, and he missed pretty much the entire season of 2019. The biggest concern they had for him was after criticizing him through the social media. What's that?
It was
2020. Yes,
2020 when he said that.
Yeah. I'm saying after the 2019 season when they had that great season, and like you said, yes, sir. The following season he set out was how is he going to be able to maintain to be in shape? Because to me, that spoke of more volumes on how disciplined he can be as a pro. Because as a pro, you don't have nobody watching over you, looking over you, tell you to get up and work out and what to eat and yada yada yada. And the boy came back and went a 4.3 something, 4.38. I mean, they picked him first round, which was a great decision for them because he has paid great dividends for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think people stated that I wouldn't draft or that should hurt his stock and draft because I wouldn't be able to trust him. But when you know the business of NFL is straight that the business. Nah, if he do what he need to do in the combines, that'll be just fine. To pass the character test, they're gonna give him assessment. He'll be just fine. And the guy had to make a decision. And like I said, this something. And what I'm saying with us closing out, I don't feel that's a decision I could have made. And I dealt with chronic hamstring injuries throughout my entire college career. I know firsthand. Even after that, playing ball, getting played, it ended my career. My last stint in arena football, it ended my career because of that. So I know all about it. But you have to make those type of decisions, man. The best for your future. Shout out to the young man. Like I said, I just hope this don't be a trend, man, because I don't want to see this happening. And then the last thing, I think we are really seeing, guys, like you guys alluded to it a little bit earlier. I think we are seeing now that the players are becoming, they do business as business is done. My man on the Pivot podcast. Freaky Fred Taylor says this all the time. He learned when he went to New England, do business as business is done. Don't get twisted thinking it's not a business, because that's what it is. He made a business decision, man. So I wish the young man his best. I can't wait for the college football playoff to kick off. It's going down. We got some great games coming out and happening. So shout out to that. You guys got anything else to say for us real quick? Chime in.
No, you said it. In my head, I'm thinking, I get hurt, I might not even get on the scout team. At least if I don't play, I could end up still with a small $4 million contract, So,
pays dividends.
Some money is better than no money.
Yeah, exactly. He get on his ball a lot. They're gonna forgive him. They're gonna forget, especially if they win. They'll forget about that. So you just gotta live with it, man. What I want to do real quick, guys, also get a shout out to our sponsors, guys. Our sponsor, we got Be Fearless for You. Right now is running a special tis the season to go shopping. Everything 50% off. Go to www.BeFearless4You. Now, how that's spelled? B, just the letter B, and then fearless. FEARLESS, the number 4 U, and the letter U.com. Okay, check it out. Our sponsor, guys, Be Fearless for You. Check it out. Be there, guys. I thank you for tuning in. I thank everybody for tuning in, chiming in, guys. This has been a very festive and interesting stream that we had for you guys, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to shout out to my co-hosts, my guests coming in through it. My man Mark Lacey, guys, don't forget to go check him out on Facebook, Mark Lacey. Also checking out on his soapbox that he has every Thursday. He comes in. If it changed the schedule, he always alerts you guys, let you not guys know. Author, writer, that's the man, the poet. Shout out for your time, Chris James, man. Always dependable, the old soul logistics man that he is. Keeping it hot. I love the prime time behind it too, man. That's a nice little touch. You got it on there.
Yeah.
Must be the money. Shout out to my man Prime, guys. Good things. Keeping well wishes. Blessing to everybody. If we don't see you guys before the New Year's come in or Christmas, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, all that great stuff. Guys, I appreciate you. We signing out. E36 Unfiltered. We out of here. Thank you.
6 Unfiltered, aka the Unfiltered Room with Mr. E.G.A.T. Introducing all the latest names in the latest news. Hottest take, he the new face, yeah, the new sound, but keep it old school and raw interviews from local athletes, even digging off and entertaining.